What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex. You watching Ragin Nation Show Transformers 4 Edition. This is just web series. We're talking about all things that matter to me from production of the 4th installment of live action Transformers film franchise directed by Michael Bay. Let's get some shoutouts away. I'm gonna make this really quick. And the first shoutout goes to Karana Devi, who has a really cool Facebook page because it shows off some really cool sketches of exotic cars, especially Ferraris. So if you like Ferraris and you like art, well, check out his art page at The Car Garage. That's spelled with K-A-R-R. I'm gonna leave you the link in the description box below and show us some support. Alright, moving on, let's give a big Twitter shout out to Steve, who says, Alex, can I get a shout out in your next video because I put on a condom last night and said roll on in Optimus Prime's voice. Now I can't imagine what that would sound like, but I imagine it's kind of crazy. So here's your shout out, and I also gotta give a big Twitter shout out to the man himself, Optimus Prime, Mr. Peter Cullen, who now has a Twitter account. He just opened up a Twitter account and he's on social media, so you guys can start following him. And I just want to say, Mr. Cullen, you are an amazing human being and super talented, and thank you for providing your talents on the Transformers live action films. Optimus Prime would not be the same without you. Thank you very much. And I also want to give a big shout out to Nelson of MichaelBay.com. Of course, Michael Bay is responsible for making the most amazing action movies ever, produced and directed, but somebody's got to manage the social media scene and also his website, and that would be none other than Nelson. I want to say thank you, Nelson, for taking care of MichaelBay.com and also the social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's a big job, and I want to acknowledge that and say thank you. You're doing an amazing job. Keep up the good work, alright? So there you have it. And finally, I want to give a big shout out to my Instagram followers. Thank you guys for following me on Instagram. If you don't already know, I got an Instagram account at The Ragin Nation. And I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I want to give a shout out to some random people who are following me on Instagram. And let's start off with
Love Chowder 242, Patrick is ready, Chris the Kid, Transformers AOE updates, Troy O'Killam, Swip 309, Jake 098764, Mr. Stanislaw 74, EJ Elpez 17, and finally Giovanni Godin Z5, who is Charles KV1T04KA, and finally Andrew Tanger. And there you have it. Oh, and Jonathan Torado 12.
Alright, and I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be putting Instagram exclusive content in my Instagram account. So for example, I'm going to be posting video teasers for my next video updates for Transformers Age of Extinction, just to let you guys know. So follow me at the Ragin Nation on Instagram. Alright, there you have it. Anyways, let's get on with the talk about the Super Bowl TV spot. Now, I just gotta let you guys know that upon watching it over and over again, just like you guys, I've noticed some more stuff, and I've been following all the discussion, I've been following all the chats and all the comments, and I've been just reading up on what you guys have been commenting about. So I just want to follow up and talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl teaser. So if you haven't seen my reaction, check out the reaction, and then if you haven't seen my first trailer analysis, check that out. But this is part 2. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. So let's start off with the very first shot of Optimus getting shot. Now, when he gets shot, it looks like he's doing the classic superhero landing on the ground pose. Okay, like an Iron Man pose, where he's punching the ground. Now, it's possible that Lockdown shot him when Optimus is actually punching somebody. Because if you look down on the ground, there's actually some car wreckage, some automobile wreckage. Now, I cannot tell or confirm that that's an automobile or a Decepticon. But all I know is that he's in that punching pose. But maybe that could be the pose for when he just gets shot. When he gets shot, that was the pose that he was in, except he's looking down, you know what I'm saying? So we can't confirm that there's a bot or a con underneath his fist, but at the end of the day, he is posed in a punching way, and there was some wreckage below him. It could be just an automobile, but who knows, alright? Now, next thing I gotta talk about is this guy. Now, there's still no confirmation on who this guy is. I mean, really, it could be Motormaster, which there has been no mention of ever since the production of the movie has been announced, but there has been mentions of Galvatron and Cyclonus. Now, could it be Galvatron or could it be Cyclonus? Which one do you think it is? But let me tell you that the 3 main Decepticons that have ever been mentioned since the production of Transformers Age of Extinction, it is these three Decepticons: Lockdown, Galvatron, and Cyclonus. These are the three main Decepticons. Okay, so which one could it be? I'm not completely convinced that it's Galvatron. It could be Cyclonus based on the face. I figured that Galvatron should look a little bit more similar to Megatron's face, so who knows? Anyways, I also want to mention that considering there's no mention of Motormaster, there's also been no mention of Stunticons. Now, I personally believe that the Stunticons in Transformers Age of Extinctions are going to be like the Constructicons in Revenge of the Fallen. They have no names. They only have names when you refer to them as a toy. When they're on the shelves, they slap names on them, okay? But other than that, I think that the vehicles that we've been seeing, all the exotics that have been driving around, are all just minions, like nameless Decepticons, which are essentially Stunticons, okay? So I gotta say that this guy that slices the car in half, is either Cyclonus or Galvatron. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is Galvatron because based on the colors, it could transform into the Freightliner Argosy. And maybe this is Michael Bay's interpretation of Motormaster. He has no room to put in Motormaster, so he decides that, you know, he's putting in Galvatron because there's just too many cons already. Alright, so there you have it. But I can't really tell because I don't see any car parts on him. Alright, so I mean, it could be Cyclonus, but who knows? So, big mystery still. Okay, now moving on to the next shot where Optimus is being held captive. Who is this guy? Now, in the previous video, I said that this is Galvatron just because of the concept art and the fact that there's a retracting blade that goes back into the arm, and also the fact that he's huge. He just looks huge. But maybe it's just forced perspective. Now, if you don't know what forced perspective is, it's when they put an object in front of the camera closer, and then a faraway object looks really, really small. That's what forced perspective is. But if Lockdown is a Lamborghini Aventador, I think there's some serious mass shifting going on, because if this is going to be Lockdown, which I think it's Lockdown upon careful viewing, he's pretty huge, okay? But once you take a really good look at it, it could be Lockdown. Now, I pressed pause right when they showed the reveal really early into that clip, and it looks like that the head looks like Lockdown's head. So I'm going to say that considering this Optimus is captured in Lockdown's ship, it must be Lockdown that is interrogating Optimus Prime. Alright, so very, very interesting. Now remember in the next scene, we see Crosshairs. Now remember in the previous video I said that this cityscape, this skyline, the city skyline does not look like Hong Kong at all. It is not Hong Kong. I know what Hong Kong looks like, and that is not Hong Kong. Okay? Now, I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't Hong Kong, so I decided to look at it a little bit more, make sure I look at the surrounding, buildings in the background to make sure that there's no other islands anywhere around. And I've confirmed that that is not Hong Kong. However, if this scene actually takes place in Hong Kong, then they got it all wrong, because Hong Kong does not look like that. And here's the dead giveaway. Okay, I'm not going to do the song, okay? But here's the dead giveaway. If you look to the left, Chase Bank. Chase Bank is an American chain of banks. It does not exist in Hong Kong, okay? So what does this tell us? This tells us that there's going to be an aerial battle in America, in American soil, in the air, where Crosshairs is shooting at Decepticon drone ships, all right? So I think the big chase is going to take place in Hong Kong, and the aerial battles is going to take place in America, all right? So very, very interesting. All right, but if they really put that as Hong Kong, well, they kind of screwed up, and they shouldn't be doing that, because a lot of Hong Kong experts, especially people who live in Hong Kong, they're gonna know that that does not look like the Hong Kong skyline. All right, moving on. Let's talk about. Oh, speaking of which, I'm not gonna completely say that there are no aerial battles in Hong Kong, because keep in mind that Strafe, the two-headed dragon, he's in it, and he's gonna be, of course, flying around with Bumblebee sitting on top of it. Okay, now moving on. Let's look at this shot of Tessa. Tessa's going, "Dad, save me!" Okay. Look at those things in front of her. Those weird thingies. They almost look like claws. And also look at the back, the windshields in the back, which also look like kind of claw thingies. What the heck are those things? I mean, if that's part of the car, that looks really, really weird. So I'm very curious to know what the heck are those things that are like in front of her. These brown, really scaly things. I don't know what they are, but they have really like rough edges, but they look weird and something strange is going on there, okay? It looks like she's being captured by something, okay? Now, look at the next scene where the Sonic RS is driving away from two SUVs. One of them is being flipped over, and then Optimus, old Optimus, is just flipping around, okay? First of all, some people are saying that that's Cliff Jumper. That's the rumor that's going on. Well, and they were also saying that well, there's nobody inside the vehicle. It should be, that must be Cliff Jumper. Well, actually, if you look really closely, there's one guy inside on the left side, and another guy going like this on the other side. He's going like this. So that's what I'm saying. There's actually two people in there. Maybe Tessa's also in the back, all right? And also, there's two... Hello? 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 Down, Zana. Ma! Tell you what. Okay, so there's two people in the Sonic RS. One of them is driving, the other one's going like this. Now, there's also two SUVs, and I'm pretty sure that Special Forces guys are in there. Now, the robot flipping is Optimus Prime. You can just tell by all the car parts, and of course, look at his feet. These are the classic Optimus Prime feet from Dark of the Moon, Revenge of the Fallen. So that's his original look. Now, this is something very interesting because the Peterbilt was never seen on set. The Peterbilt was never ever seen on set, okay? Not even once. The only time a Peterbilt was ever being transported during the filming of Transformers Age of Extinction was when it was being transported to Transformers the Ride, okay? For the big event, all right? The opening ceremony or something like that. But the Peterbilt, other than that, was never actually filmed. But what was filmed a lot, that it was a truck, was a rusty, flat-nosed truck, all right? So that suggests that Optimus Prime's old mold is the rusty truck, and then he gets an upgrade to the Western Star. Alright, so very, very interesting. Okay, now, that is one theory. Otherwise, the only other theory is that Optimus Prime in his old mode does not transform into a vehicle. And that's why we haven't seen a vehicle, an old Peterbilt version of himself during the filming. So that's pretty interesting. This leaves for some very interesting story theories, okay? That also means that there's no Ultra Magnus if Optimus Prime is going to be the rusty truck. So very interesting that that we're seeing more Autobots, you know, other than Bumblebee, that has two modes. All right, so there you go. Now, let's take a look at Grimlock. Now, I've been reading all the comments and a lot of people's opinions about how they feel about Grimlock, and a lot of G1 fans are saying that they screwed up Grimlock. Now, keep in mind that, well, this is Michael Bay's universe. Nothing has been kept the same. So, I think that if by the fourth movie you don't realize that it's going to be different, then... then so be it. What can I say? All I gotta say is, look, if you take away the horns and you take away Optimus Prime riding on Grimlock, that's Grimlock. That's a mechanized T-Rex, alright? So it's not that much of a stretch or not that much different from Grimlock. Grimlock looks vicious, so what if he has horns? It's just an addition, and Optimus Prime riding on Grimlock, I think that's kind of cool, just because it's a mode of travel. It's a mode of transportation. So, I'm curious to know what Optimus Prime is going to do with the sword and with the shield. That just means that there's a huge Decepticon to fight. I mean, he's got to fight something huge, and Grimlock is going to be like, right? And then Optimus Prime is going to go, whoosh, with his sword. So there must be a really huge Decepticon, alright? Because imagine Grimlock transformed into a robot mode. He's going to be ginormous. Now, that leaves me to question, and that is, will we even see the robot modes of the Dinobots? You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see the robot modes at all of any of the Dinobots. In fact, I wouldn't even be that much disappointed. Mainly because, well, the best mode, the highlight mode of the Dinobots is, of course, the dinosaur mode, the beast mode, right? Scorponok never transformed into a robot. Ravage never transformed into a robot. Laserbeak was the most interesting when he was flying around. So, you know, I'm not going to be surprised if the Dinobots don't have robot modes. Because even if they do transform into robots, well, they got to have a Decepticon match. You know, someone to be just as big as them or bigger. Just because they're, you know, the cons are always supposed to outmatch the, outnumber rather, the Autobots. So, you know, what do you guys think about that? Anyways, okay. The final thing I got to talk about is Grimlock riding Optimus Prime from China. Okay. All right. So he comes out of the Wulong Karst, okay, the geological park. Now, I thought that the final battle takes place in Hong Kong. I also thought that the final battle takes place in Beijing. I don't know which final battle takes place where, but all I know is that the Wulong Karst is quite a ways from Hong Kong, and it's also quite a ways from Beijing. So are they trying to tell us that that Grimlock and Optimus Prime are galloping? That, you know, they're going Gangnam Style all the way to Hong Kong? That is going to take hours. The battle's already been won or lost. That's what I'm trying to say. Or if it's in Beijing in northern China, that's even further. So I think they're going to have some geography issues there, or unless Grimlock is just really, really fast and he's going to like destroy mountains or whatever. But all I know is that they got a lot of, you know, Gangnam Style to go through before they get to Hong Kong for the final battle. Speaking of which, let's talk about the battles. There's going to be a Hong Kong battle, which is going to be huge. It involves a lot of car chases. There's going to be the China battle. Apparently, they're supposed to blow up the 3 major landmarks of Beijing, which includes the Bird's Nest, the Olympic Stadium, and this other building. And then, of course, there's the highway battle in Texas, where Lockdown captures Optimus Prime. There's the battle in the American skyline with Crosshairs, and there's other small car chases here and there. So this movie is going to be action-packed and clocking in at 1 hour and 55 minutes, making it the shortest Transformers live-action film. They're going to pack in a lot of action. Okay, so I'm really curious to see how much actual exposition and storytelling there's going to be, because they got a lot of action to cover, and there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. The big question is, who the heck is this Decepticon that slices the red Chevy in half? Is it Motormaster, is it Cyclonus, or is it Galvatron? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know your theories. Let me know your theories about the stories. And also, I'm not going to do collection shoutouts in this video. I'm just going to leave it at that. We've already talked about a lot of stuff. But let me know your thoughts about anything that I've talked about. And there you have it. By the way, Ragin Nation t-shirts. Show some support for the Ragin Nation if you can. The t-shirts are $26.99. Of course, only 100 units made. We got the embroidered patch. That's the Ragin Nation himself. He's a robotic samurai. And of course, this is just like what do you call it? Labor of love for me. I always wanted a t-shirt that said the Ragin Nation. I always wanted this kind of like the liner style with the black and the white, and it's $26.99 plus shipping for and I ship worldwide, and I accept PayPal as your method of my method of payment, and I'm gonna be wearing this to Transformers Age of Extinction first showing, and you guys should wear one at the premiere of the first showing of Transformers Age of Extinction and represent the Ragin Nation. I want to say thank you to everybody who has bought a t-shirt, and I really appreciate all the support. And there you have it. That's all I gotta say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, the Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. If you want to get yourself a t-shirt, email me at raginnation@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Cybertron when it got destroyed. So maybe they're from a different planet. Moving on, you have okay. Now this is very interesting to me. Cade, Tessa.